Hello there everybody, and today we're going to make a very fun animation here in Grasshopper. That's kind of like this thing here, right? You have one symbol here and another symbol here. You go like back and forth. And this would basically look like this. Going from one place and then going to the other one, which would be great. So we're gonna do this by starting with a brand new Grasshopper file. The first thing we're gonna do is we want to create the outlines. So basically what we're thinking of here, we should basically have the two symbols, right? And you can look at it like this. So you have one sheet of paper and then another sheet of paper. And on the one we have Bitcoin logo, and on the other one we have a fiat logo. So, and then we basically look for points that intersect with the other one, more or less. So like this one here, this one there, and then we basically create our points all around in that space. That's the basic idea. Well, for that we are going to need, first of all, the codes for that, or like the numbers, and then we're gonna get them together. So we have first, we do use the command text object, actually Rhino, use text object, and this will let us create a text. So we're going to create the $sign, and you see here, I'm gonna place it on 0, 0, 0, and there we have our nice $sign. Now, we want to also find out about the Bitcoin symbol. That can be a Bitcoin symbol, you can just Google it, and then you get it straight in your thing. So if I would go here, we can look at this website and just, copy this, and then do another text object once it's like grouped first. Do another text object. Like this, and we're gonna paste the Bitcoin link logo in there. We're gonna also place it at 0, 0, 0, like this. Great. Now that we have our two very nice symbols here, gonna put this one as well. We're gonna use those two in order to create our thing. So let me actually place them how I want them to be, like this in our drawing here. So you're gonna rotate them like this, and we're gonna rotate this as well like that. However, then we're going to rotate it around a little bit. And now I'm gonna place this one here and the other one here. No, let's say here. And the idea is basically that if I look at this, I see it like this, like that, right? And then we go around and I would look like this. So that's the basic idea. So let's get this into the Grasshopper environment. So first of all, let's create the geometry here, and then also the geometry for our little Bitcoin symbol. Let's be over there. Obviously, by the way, you could do this with every kind of like symbol or task or whatever. So then we have that. I'm going to create a bounding box between those two things. We're going to merge those two together, and we create the content, right click it, do union box, and then we have the bounding box on there as well. So now you can also see the numbers here with this little thing. Anyway, now that we have that, I want to create a surface around each of those things and then also extrude them. And then depending where they extrude, I want to basically have some points. So let's do like extrude surface, or just extrude, and we also will create a boundary surface for our thing here. Let's rename this like into the Bitcoin symbol, and then we're also going to create the same with the fiat symbol here. Gonna use this one here like that. So that we have that, I want to create the base of this one here, and I'm gonna extrude into the X direction. And we can extrude it like quite long because we only care about the part that's basically intersecting. Can do it even more. Yeah, and now we do the same thing as well with the fiat symbol as well. But here we need to put it into the y direction because we're going into the other direction where it is basically intersecting. Bigger. Too much, but okay. So now that we have our two things here, we're doing a rather simple operation. So we're just going to populate this area in a 3D space. So we're going to populate 3D. And we are going to use this as the bounding box. And then we create actually quite a few, like maybe like 1,000 or even 10,000 little points on that space. And this will actually take a while because it tries to find points that are more or less reasonable. And the populate 3D command actually takes quite a while. As you see, they're now located like this here. Actually, for now, we're going to reduce it a little bit just in case there are any computational errors and we don't want to have that thing completely overblown. So now we're going to use the point in BREP that basically looks if the point is in the BREP. So we're going to take a look at this one here. If it's in here, and look at the points. And then we can just dispatch them, whoops, with this one here, because it gives us a true and false thing. And we're going to use the population of the points here. And then if we're going to take a look at the final points, we have our points that are only in this part. Well, we're not only going to do this here, but we also have to do this for the other side as well, obviously. So we're going to copy this over and put the extrusion in here like that as well, and use the list in that one here. Now we obviously have the same thing here. And there is a little mistake going on here because the BREP doesn't give me any answers here at the moment. So let's take a look what the error in this case would be. So we have our BREP here, right? And I have to make sure if it's closed. Oh yeah, and I obviously need to put the initial list as the dispatch pattern here. So then we have our points that are in there as well. But now we have two sets of points like this. So the clever way to do this is to actually go around and take the point of the first BREP and the second BREP, use it as an AND gate, and then use this as a dispatch pattern, which then only gives us the result of the point that we have here. When I'm going to make this invisible, and those things as well, we see we have a few points here. And you think like, okay, well, this kind of fits in this as well, but it's not really making any thing at all. So by combating this, we're going to increase the size of the points we have here, and going to about almost a little bit more than 10,000 in that case. Wait a little bit because this will take some computational time to calculate, and then we would have the result in there. So this takes about 10 seconds apparently, and then obviously the other comments take some time as well. So now we have our points here and there. I think that works already pretty great. Obviously we only have points for now, but we also want to give them a certain thickness. Before we did it in small rectangles or small cubes, and we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to create some rectangles here, create a base size with construct boundaries or construct domain, and then we are going to use a number. Might be too big, we will see, and use the domain and as well, and make this one under expressions, make it negative because you want to have it from and to a certain size. I want to have them just now basic rectangular, so then we have our basic rectangular things happening around here. As you see, it's a rather small number. All right, like this. Gonna hide that, and then we're also going to use the box rectangle command as well, and use the height here. And we actually have to double it because it goes only into one direction. So use number and we're going to right click it, expression, x times 2, and then we have it in here as well. So now that we have that already, which is pretty nice, I also wanted to give a certain, let's say, feel to it when, you know, like, because right now it's just like, if I look at custom preview and I put a color in here, like white, it looks the same from both sides, which is like a little bit, you know, basic. But I want to actually have those colors kind of be a little bit different every time I look around, you know? So we're going to do that by actually exploding this one. So we're going to deconstruct brep, deconstruct. There are obviously different methods how you can go along with this, but I think this one works rather great. So we have a brep deconstructed, and then we're simply going to use a dispatch pattern because it goes, and the basic value goes from true, false. Then you go use it as a list, and then if we see at the output geometry, we have one time geometry that's from here and one time from here. So we're going to hide this, and then we're simply going to duplicate the custom preview, one time here, one time there, and give them different colors. So let's see which color is which here. So let's go for a brown or like a greenish, dark greenish color for the fiat side, and then for a very happy orange yellow for the other side. So that's basically it. Now you have the two things that go from here to there. Obviously, if you want to have this thing spin a little bit, there's one way to do it. For example, we can use the rotate function, and then we are going to, first of all, we have to kind of know where we are at. So we do the bounding box as well again, in this case, and use it as a union box. And then we're going to use the volume of that because you want to kind of know the center point, which then can be used as the base plane. And the angle is something that we want to adjust further down the road. So let's actually do the expression x times 90, or like even 180. No, let's do just 90. And have it in here, put this to degrees, so it's in degrees. And then we're going to use the same geometry that we have here. Let's do it forward and put this one in there. And once we have that, we can basically rotate this thing back and forth to our liking. So you can just stand here and make a small animation, and just maybe hide those two things here, so we can go back and forth with that. So yeah, that's the basic idea. It has always some symbolic to it, and I think that's pretty nice because, yeah, Bitcoin is kind of the thing that would be very important for every one of us in the future, so why not show it in some sense or the other? So with that said, have an absolutely great day, and yeah, let me know what you think, and see you in the next video.